Well, it's been another one of those weeks, and I have found a video that I think would explain a lot of what we're seeing and what you have been seeing. Like, why would he do something so stupid talking about Trump? Oh, I'm going to have a parable at the end of this that I hope you find hilariously funny. Maybe not so funny if you're just new to what's going on and the reality is smacking you really hard with that baseball bat. Anyways, first things first, please go check out Patreon and the website. That is how you support this channel. Sign up for some articles and some podcasts. Also, I am doing audiobooks, all kinds of audiobooks. Anything and everything your little heart can desire. Now let's get into this little story from John Rich about Trump. It's going, I swear, open your eyes, at least a little bit.
At this time, and he's talking to the senators. He's talking about really important stuff, and I'm just minding my own business going, I don't know how.
Now, instantly, what you see is John Rich's body is actually telling the story. The head is moving in directions as if he's following the conversation he remembers Trump having with the people at the table he's sitting with. Oh, Trump talks to that guy, then he switches over and talks to that guy, and the head is following the conversation. The body also sits there and mimics food cutting. I'm at my plate, eating. This is how I eat.
I got in this room. Well, okay. I'm sitting elbow to elbow with him. It's about an hour into dinner. I hadn't said a word, just been listening. And Trump gets through eating, and you've seen him do this move right here. Yeah. Wherever in the big boardroom he does this. Okay, that's what he does. He goes, can I ask you a question, John Rich? He never calls me John. John Rich? I look at him, I go, yes, sir. What's the question? He goes, well, you do.
One, this is actually great storytelling, is acting out the story, which is what you're seeing. He's acting out the story, but it's flowing. The body is preemptively doing the acting prior to the mouth saying, which just goes more into the truth. Because if the body is leading the conversation, more than likely it is truth, or at least that person's belief of what truth is.
Do a lot of big shows. Like, you're an entertainer? Yes, sir. You play for really big crowds? I go, I do. I play for really big crowds for a long time. He goes, well, have you seen these rallies I'm doing? Like, it's 30, 40,000 people. I said, yeah, it's unbelievable. He goes, so here's the question. Why are people booing me at my rallies when I bring up the This is the question from the President of the United States. A guy who is very proud at that moment of the fact that he was able to stomp the gas pedal and get that thing out because he's under the impression this is going to fix the problem.
Operation Warp Speed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a guy who, to his own admission, one of the biggest egos on the earth.
Yeah.
And he's very proud of this. And I respect him there is no limit.
Right.
But I'm being asked a very direct question. And so, man, I looked at him and I said, okay, I'm going to tell you the answer and you're not going to like it. He goes, okay, what's the answer? You're going to look at me like this? I said, let me start off by saying this. We, the American people, do not trust the people that you were forced to trust at the time when this was happening. Let's start there. And I said, by the people we don't trust, here's who I mean. The FDA, the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, Fauci, and all the rest of them. I said, Mr. President, we consider them to be a bunch of murderous, depopulationist psychopaths.
And his reaction was...
That's a good way to start.
His eyes are, he goes, unbelievable.
He actually really did that unbelievable voice really, really well. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. He's
Great
stunned.
impression.
No,
That's
he
amazing.
is stunned that I said that. I said, now, let me tell you why they're booing you. I said, because all of them, including me, I said, I would boo you. I would boo you.
Did you really say that?
I would boo you.
Really?
If you brought that up, and here's why. And he's looking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the last.
He's looking at me like, so he's mimicking. His body is telling you that the eyes were wide with Trump. Like, oh, wow.
Time this guy's going to invite me to anything.
Yeah.
He's never going to call me again. I'm throwing massive shade on a former president's, in his mind, one of his biggest accomplishments. And it dawned on me, nobody had told the man what I was telling him right now, because they all work for him. They all got something to gain from him.
Yes,
they're
sir.
not going to tell him this because they're not serving him well. I don't work for him. And I think a lot of him, and I want him to understand the truth about it. So I said, here's the problem. Here's why they're booing you, Mr. President, because every human being out in that rally, either themselves or they know someone directly who has been harmed by the or has even died from it, including me. I said, I got members of my own family who were forced to take it against their will to keep their jobs, and now they've got all kinds of problems. Big problems, heart problems, lung problems. And he's looking at me, and he looks around the table and he goes, this is unbelievable. I mean, he goes, has anyone else heard this? Herschel Walker, he was running for Senate at the time. He goes, Mr. President, I mean, down in Georgia, my constituents come up at my rallies, and what John just said, man, I hear it every single day. Looks over at Marcia. Marcia's sitting there going, you know, looks around the table, and then Lindsey Graham, who's sitting across. So you're here, or I'm here. I'm sorry, but you're Lindsey Graham.
Sorry, you're Lindsey. Carlos Lindsey, everybody.
Okay. You're Lindsey Graham, and you're me. Okay. As I'm going into the part where I said, even in my own family, I have Lindsey Graham busts in with it swishing his Chardonnay around and said, Mr. President, if you listen to conspiracy theorists like John Rich, the Democrats are going to take credit for what you did, and they're going to beat you in the next election with it.
Oh,
and so I'm looking at Trump, and he's sitting over there, and he does that, and I looked at him and I said, do not interrupt me when I'm speaking. Do you understand me?
What?
And he looked at me and he goes, well, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I go,
That is so good. Well, I didn't mean, and you see that twirl in his body. He's mimicking Lindsey. And you know that's Lindsey's little squirrel snaky shit that he does. Because he's a snake. Oh, this is a really good truth story as far as when you want to watch somebody who's telling you, or in this case, retelling you a story. This is what it looks like. This is the body singing. It leads the story, not the mouth. If the mouth leads, they're a liar.
yeah, but you did.
Oh.
So,
Right now you look like Wyatt Earp. And it's very intimidating.
Trump is right here. You're Lindsey Graham, okay? I'm holding him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You're Lindsey Graham.
I look back up at the president. I look at him one more time. I go, now let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, man.
And then I finished it. Okay.
That
Trump ended that by saying, so I guess no more talk. I said, I think that's a good idea. I said, I think you're going to learn a lot about it. But yes, I think that's a good idea because that's the only thing that would make us ever boo you, Mr.
Yeah, because
President.
you're right.
All right. So you see that, okay? So what does Lindsey Graham use to control the Trump? Fear and his ego. Trump wants to be liked by everybody. Everybody likes me. He likes his accomplishments. He likes what he stands on. I've got the highest poll numbers. Look at these rallies. They're so massive. The evidence of his popularity. And then you got the snake that comes around, the devil in his ear. And I will tell you right now, Lindsey Graham is not the only devil in his ear. He's the one in this story. If you ever talk like that, you'll lose. The Democrats will bury you on it. Fear. The threat of his ego being damaged through fear. Trump surrounds himself with the people that he has because they know the magic formula in controlling Trump. Use his ego against him with the combination of fear. These are the we know how to control you yes men. You already know Lutnick is that guy because he laughs at things that aren't funny. He's not laughing because he truly believes that they're funny. He's stroking the ego next to him. And Lord knows what he's saying behind the scenes. Stroke the ego, apply fear. Stroke the ego, apply fear.
You know when he went down? No, before. When he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he lost his audience. People said, give me a break. He went down when he endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President, have you talked to Governor Cuomo? Started interviewing Fed candidates yet?
Yeah, we've started the interviewing process. Scott and I and Howard, a lot of people, JD, we have some great candidates.
Oh, look at our other snake. We don't know what he's been saying, but I'm sure the formula is the same. Stroke the ego, which is why you see the stupid giggling every time he's looked at. You're so funny, Mr. President. You're just the best. Followed by whatever fear is coming out of his mouth.
It's probably down to 3. He doesn't want the job. He said, do you like this job better? Yes, sir. I mean, he was a candidate, but I don't think he'll take it.
He's so funny. Oh, God. No, he's not. At most, it's a that's pretty good smile. But this whole giggle like a little schoolgirl, that's an ego stroke.
Have you been briefed on what Ghislaine Maxwell told Todd Blanche?
No, I haven't.
You don't know whether
I
came up in the
I know Todd
conversation
is a
or
very
not?
respected person all over the country, all over the world legally, so I don't know.
Mr. President.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Every time Maxwell's mentioned, Lutnick starts to get very antsy. We've got Graham, now we've got Lutnick. You know, who you surround yourself with is very important.
Will the new Fed governor be temporary?
We're probably going to go with a temp and then a permanent, I think.
Are the two?
So the temp is going to be named, I'd say, over the next 2-3 days, and then we're going to go permanent.
So here our snake is. And for those that have been watching for years, you understand that there's always a pecking order. Always. Now, that doesn't mean that they've had animosity in this group. It's just that people recognize when others have more influence because their suggestions, their way is usually done. And right now, Lutnick seems to be the top dog in this cabinet because Bassett, at least in this arena, is not. We'll discuss it. Will the new Fed governor be temporary? Instantly you see Lutnick look at Trump. There's already been discussions. You're foolish if you think otherwise. There's been a name that has been mentioned. So he's looking at Trump with anticipation of maybe he'll name this person. But as soon as Trump says temporary, Lutnick goes still. The whole body just stops. It's literally like he holds his breath. That is not the response that you want. Or I should say the response that he wants. He wants his man in, and he wants that person in permanently. Now, Scott over here, why is he not the top dog? Scott instantaneously agrees with the president. Yeah, temp, that's a good idea. Very, very good idea. Will not look at Lutnick. As a matter of fact, his body doesn't actually completely angle towards him. When you know you've had conversations about this prior, and the people in the room that are having this conversation, if they're all in agreement, they kind of angle towards each other. They get closer together like a united front. In this instance, Scott, he's in left field, doesn't want to look at Lutnick. Lutnick does not want to look at him, moves his mouth around. Bassett does, or Scott does, and looks back at the reporter. I don't even want to look in this general vicinity. Now, I have no idea how bad it is when it's in dealing with these people, because apparently the idea of having logical conversations is not the norm. There seems to be a whole lot of ego stroking, as we have discovered, and that is the winner of the day. Who can stroke my ego the most? And who can give it a happy ending? It doesn't give me very good feelings, y'all. Just does not give me good feelings.
Mr. President. The two Kevins, it's very good.
Mr. President, is Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Mr. Snake Man himself. He's looking over towards Vance and stroking his ego. So not only do we have Waldo, and I'm calling him Waldo now, with the stroke my ego, feed me fear, so I do what you want, we have another Waldo in the room, stroke his ego, feed his fear. I don't know what his fear is, but obviously the formula apparently can be transferred over to Vance. Vance, it's so funny, that they would think this of you.
No, I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay?
Okay, they just stand with him on that one. There's just a united front in that respect. But here's the parable. There's a reason why I called him Waldo. You know, where's Waldo? Waldo's always in a damn crowd. And he always stands out. You look long enough, you're going to find Waldo. He's always standing out. And Trump loves to be in the crowd. We thought we hired William Wallace. You didn't. He is definitely not leading the crowd. He's Waldo. He's standing in the crowd. And the thing with Waldo is, Waldo does not like leaving crowds. If he does, he just goes to another crowd. You got to go find him again. And right now, he has left our America First crowd, and he's with this crowd, who is making sure that he does not want to leave, which is why you see a lot of ego stroking. Ego is like a drug. That's why it's bad to have one. They show him the poll numbers that he likes. He watches the news station that he likes. These are all things that he has control over that they don't. It's not very hard to stroke an ego and to keep it imprisoned as long as you feed it. And it's being fed very well. And the snakes are in the room saying, don't look at that. Your base is still there.
Thanks for watching.